On this week's show, we're discussing Halo Campaign Evolved reviews are in and Master Chief is officially back. Splatoon Raiders reviews over on Nintendo Switch 2 and Amazon Luna have an exclusive Batman game. You heard that right. We discussed that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming show, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together to round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild Podcast and you'll find us here every single week, Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes live. Your podcast players for the week are myself, Chris, at Arcane Rogue, and the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie. Welcome to the show. Everyone. Hello indeed, and we have a great show lined up for you all. Before we get into all of that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring a ding that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content we do here, like PlayStation Retro Hunts, like weekly live streams, and everything else in between. This week's live stream will no doubt have been Halo Campaign Evolved. First look, no doubt, on the channel. I'm expecting it imminently in the future, ready to play through and review. We'll talk about that in this week's episode. But we like to start every show with what we've been playing. But due to, I guess, travel restrictions, Richie, we should probably let our audience know that this will be a slightly shorter episode, which I'm sure you've already noticed from just clicking play. And next week's episode will also be one in the tank, saved and recorded ahead of time. So if we miss any news next week, we do apologise. But we're going on our jolly hollies. So we'll get back to it when we can.
For the first time in 6 years, it's felt where we're both unavailable at the same time.
So you just booking holidays left, right, and centre. But it is the time of the year. It is the time of the year. So we'll keep it brief. I've been playing Aphelion. Got the Platinum Trophy last week. It's definitely one where I think if you're looking for a bit of a palate cleanser, I know I described it last week as kind of a sci-fi. I've seen a lot of stuff call it like Uncharted, but it's not really Uncharted that much other than it being third person. It has a bit of traversal. But if you're looking for the Platinum, I'd say you could probably grab it in about 8 hours, give or take. It's from Don't Nod, so you know the graphics are really good on it. The gameplay is kind of like 3D puzzles, I would say. So like traverse here, use a grappling hook to get across here, solve out which direction using a scanner you're supposed to go, unlock things. And it's had a really nice story, some really good character development, and it did make me feel like the world probably could have done a bit more, but this game definitely had a smaller scope outside of Life is Strange, outside of is it Rage and Bloom and Rage is their other one, and then Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, which was like 40 odd hours, so way shrunken down in terms of scope. But really enjoyed it. If you're looking for a palate cleanser or picking a game up on the fairly cheap, I'd definitely recommend it. How about yourself, Richie?
Don't know, trying to find their identity now.
I think so. I do believe
they want to move. Feel like they want to move on from like things like Life is Strange, but haven't quite found.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The storytelling ability is 100% on show. The characters are really good. The world is intriguing, but it does feel like this game could have happily had another like second or third act, and they just kind of nipped it in the bud and went, there you go, story's wrapped up, story's done. And I felt satisfied, but I do feel like everything of theirs that they've played, Vanishes Ghost of New Eden, deserved more praise, deserved more hype, and the world they built around that, it was primed for like just upping the ante in a sequel and exploring somewhere new, somewhere different with new or different characters, but it was interesting and intriguing enough. So appreciate the work Don't Nod are doing. I just hope it's enough to kind of keep churning out these specific niche games as they are. How about yourself, Richie?
So I have all but one trophy in Pragmata.
Difficulty?
And the trophy, difficulty. Full playthrough, hard lunatic difficulty, no new game plus. And I've put a pin in that till after I come back from holiday, because I'm right at the start of it. I was like, I'm not going to have enough time to play through it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, the portal's been doing my head in recently. I feel like I'm getting constant latency issues or multiple button input like presses, Like sometimes the camera just goes flying off in random directions.
All right, and nothing's changed with your network or anything.
Nope, it's been getting worse. So I think over the last month or so, I was getting a bit agitated by the portal.
Yeah.
Then while you try and play a hard difficulty for a bullshit trophy, it's like, and then it's like, I'm about to go on holiday. This is just going to stress me out. I don't probably have time to finish it anyway. Let's just put a pin in that. So as day of recording, I just booted up Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for a bit.
All right.
Well, I've played that game millions of times. But Pragmata absolutely is a must play.
Right.
Such a good story. So, like, gameplay is awesome when the portal's not being twat.
When the portal's not being a twat. I love it.
But yeah. But I think you should play Pragmata.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's only very short because I think I hadn't started last week.
I think you started last week, because we discussed the trophies.
Yeah.
And then now you're actually at that point.
I was just starting though.
Yeah.
Like, I won't have been far.
Well, it just shows you how short it really is. So that's a good indicator as well. But plenty to play. As always, do let us know in the comments down below what you've been playing this past week. Have you got any recommendations for me and Richie? Would you double down on Pragmata? Have you checked out Philion? Let us know, and we'll pick that up in the Discord at a later time. Richie, we do have a merchandise store. We have passed 6,000 subscribers. We couldn't do it without you all, so thank you very much. But before we get into the news, I need you to introduce us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, a.k.a. The news.
The news. And as always, the news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, the fantastic members who support the channel that extra little bit further, just like you can. From as little as 99p, you get early access to this very show. Content, live streams, views, videos, pretty much anything that we can possibly put out early, you usually do. PlayStation Retro Hunt will no doubt have an early episode for members. It might be a special one, it might not be. Although, to be fair, because they're all PlayStation Retro ones, I'm usually looking for good ones. It's rare that I'm kind of digging through the annals of PlayStation history looking for like a really
crap game. I'll have that.
I'll have that, yeah. It's usually good ones. I've picked up, of course, we had our PlayStation Retro Hunt in person last week as you and Tom tried to hold me back from spending all of my wages on multiple titles.
We really didn't.
No. But maybe I needed you to. I think I picked up about 10 games last week in Gateshead for their retro gaming market. And yeah, we had a great time. Went out for some food. We hung out together a little bit, and we shopped around. But yeah, filled a carrier bag or two up with plenty of titles, and you'll see them on the shelf behind me. As again, this PlayStation 1. Look, it's getting further. If you go back a couple of months, it was probably about here, and it's growing at a pace, as is the PS2 and the PS3.
Yeah.
And in particular, Richie, you'll know over the weekend I was looking at the Godfather, the Dawn Edition, which is the PS2 port of the Godfather game. I managed to find it on eBay, so I have it now, with manual, in good condition. It's en route via the postman.
But I picked up nothing, because the only thing I was really interested in, there was a few maybe PS5 games, if I saw a bargain, I would pick up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I even saw a single PS5 game at the whole
thing. It ain't retro.
But you never know.
It ain't retro.
Other than that, I was briefly in the market for a PS3, mainly for Final Fantasy 13.
Mm-hmm.
And while there was a few PS3s around, I didn't see a single copy of any of the Final Fantasy 13 games. So when you walk past a bench and there's just a PS3 sat there, it's like, okay, that's 80 quid. I've seen them on CEX for anywhere between 70 and 100 for non-backwards compatible. It's like, well, it doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
It's like, because if I got CEX, I'll get a 5-year warranty. So if I get home and it doesn't work, I can plug it back in. So it's like, as I was looking at it, I was like, well, doesn't make sense for me to buy it from you right now.
Yeah, so, looking at a bundle on eBay, you can get Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13-2 PS3 game bundle, currently for £16.15.
There you go then.
So they are there. They're ready to be looked at. Need to just do a PlayStation 3 retro hunt. Were these critically acclaimed ones, or?
I'm not actually sure. It's my partner is always wanted to play them. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll pick up a PS3.
Yeah,
I did make a promise today that when I buy a Switch 2, because there's rumours of an Ocarina of Time one, which
Mm-hmm.
it's not really newsworthy because, of course, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
That at that time I will buy her a PS3.
Well, there you go. And we can go back and play everything retro, from Link's Awakening to Halo Campaign Evolved to everything in between. But, Richie, story number 1 on this week's episode is Halo Campaign Evolved. I still hate the name, but it's a real thing. It's out now in early access release. It doesn't fully release until the 28th, but you can get it up to 5 or 6 days early via early access. It's basically pay more money and you get it early. They did it with Starfield. They did it with
when you said
titles.
early access, I thought it was like,
no, sorry, early release,
access, like,
I guess.
Oh, it's coming out next year, but you can play it now if you want.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean. It's like it needs a new name, it needs a new title, but it's currently sitting on Metacritic with a generally favourable score of 81 after 4 critic reviews, and no surprise, Richie, it's doing quite well. It's, of course, a remake of a very, very popular game, arguably one of the most important titles in Xbox's history. So let's summarise and round up some reviews. Pure Xbox, maybe a little bit biased, gave it a 10 out of 10. They say Halo Studios has doubled down on the core sandbox-driven gameplay that made Combat Evolved a genre-defining classic, preserving everything that made the original so special while introducing thoughtful, restrained improvements that respect its core fan base. Campaign Remix offers the most replayable Halo campaign in the series' history, and the excellent bonus missions provide an exciting glimpse into the future of the franchise. VGC? Sorry?
Yeah, the one thing I want to comment on before we read any more reviews is the Metacritic score has got an interesting spread based on platform. So Xbox is by far the strongest at an 84.
Which you would expect.
PC, a lot more critical, at 77.
Right.
And PS5 is in the middle at 81. PS5 got the most reviews, which is weird. I've personally found that weird. Is it for more people?
Is it something again to do with Game Pass skewing the numbers, where because they get it on Game Pass?
But this is critic reviews, so Game Pass isn't part of it.
To be fair, if we've looked at the history of reviews through like main sites, they tend to play on PlayStation now.
Without digging too deep, I was kind of looking at this and going, "Is this Xbox fans?" Those who are predominantly reviewing Xbox games will probably be Xbox fans.
You'd hope.
Have that nostalgia behind it, and that's boosting a bit. PC fans may be a bit more critical with it being a remake that seemingly is just a straight remake doesn't seem to have elevated the game to new levels other than graphically and a bit of tweaks to the gameplay.
Quite possibly.
It's not a major. It's not a Resident Evil 2 redesign of the game. And PlayStation fans are somewhere in between.
Quite possibly. But there is that reality where they might be playing it on PS5 Pro because it's, in theory, the best place to play the game.
Do you feel like reviewers should actually, for Metacritic, should have to disclose that? Like, split that as even possibly. Platform? Because if you're playing a PS5 Pro and you're commenting on the graphics and the performance... Most people aren't going to be playing on PS5 Pro.
Some poor bastards playing on a Series S.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, yeah, that's a genuine thing. Like, it almost, I feel like if you're to be a serious reviewer, you should play it on the lowest entry level hardware. And go, this is the worst possible experience. It should be better than this if you have paid more money.
Very true. I will say one thing, the trailer looks gorgeous. I know we've had trailers since then, but I think now I know it's coming out this week. Like, watching the trailer, I'm pulling out bits that I know you and me played probably, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When we played Halo 1? In co-op, and it was like, I'm visually remembering things, but they look gorgeous in this trailer, so... check back in 2 weeks when I actually give you some hands-on time as part of the first look. They're very interesting. But VGC, they give it a 5 out of 5 or a 10 out of 10 or a 100 out of 100, however you want to rate it. They say Halo Studios' Unreal Engine 5 powered upgrade of the original Halo campaign elevates the original with sublime visuals, smart tweaks, and broad respect for the gameplay, feel, design, and aesthetic that make the game so beloved. Push Square, a PlayStation site, gave it a 9 out of 10. They say Halo Campaign Evolved has brought back a true classic in style, faithfully remaking and expanding one of the best shooters of all time, with bonus missions that feel like they've always been there, expertly slotting into the original Halo experience. Campaign Evolved presents an incredible package of old and new that's never looked better. Welcome back, Chief.
I think it's worth pointing out as well that Pure Xbox and Push Square are owned by the same company.
They are, yeah.
And almost
Nintendo
certainly
Life
have common
as well.
staff.
Yeah, most
Staff
likely.
between them. Yeah.
IGN, who don't, give it a 7 out of 10. They say it's no secret that Halo campaign evolved as a test run for developer Halo Studios and its future using the Unreal Engine. And from that perspective, it makes sense why this is a pretty slim package that retreads well-worn territory. The fact that I still had a blast revisiting the original Halo story in 2026 speaks to its timelessness, however, and the gunplay that revolutionized first-person console games and co-op multiplayer make it worth playing today. So obviously we know there's a lot of significant tweaks, things like sprint and stuff, which I remember how confused we got by lack of sprinting when we played it and the Master Chief Collection and the grenade throw button, which if you remember every time we started a stream, we threw a grenade and killed ourselves.
Wasn't it the trigger?
Yeah, it was in a terrible place. But it does sound like 25 years on, this is a solid, I guess, test run for the franchise and like where it sits. Multi-platform and other things.
I think it's disappointing. I think IGN are probably a bit disappointed that it seems to be nothing more than a test run. But there again, it really comes down to how you frame this game, like, and remakes in general. It's like, as a remake, if you're someone going, all I want you to do is take the original game and do it again.
Yeah.
But with better visuals, better graphics, better tweaked gameplay, but basically pretty much 95% the same, then you're probably going to review this higher. If you're looking for someone to as a reimagining of the Halo story with modern sensibilities, you're probably going to review it lower. This is the problem where I think remakes come into, is like where do you set the bar? What is the expectation for it? Because the same thing framed differently could have a very different review. IGN are knocking it down for the same reasons
other ones are praising it for.
Praising it for.
Yeah.
Other people are praising it because it is a faithful remake of Halo. IGN seem to be knocking it down because it's just a faithful remake of Halo. It feels nothing more than just a test run for Unreal.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach to take, and ultimately at the end of everything, it's subjective, right? So what people get out of it, if you are the biggest fan, you would undoubtedly get more. It's the same with when we inevitably get that PlayStation equivalent of the Uncharted 1 remake. I'm going to be way more inherently biased because I love that game. And does some of it not hold up by today's standards? Yes. Does it need a little bit more story to and maybe a couple of additional chapters to flesh it out and modernize it a bit more? Yes. Would they do that though? I don't know, but it's interesting. My take compared to maybe a reviewer who's never played Uncharted before, who doesn't love these characters and their whole breadth of story over 5-6 games, is going to have a different take. So yeah, I think it's interesting coming this from a review point of like the hardware they're playing it on, disclosing that, the history with the franchise, and then are they looking at it through a remastered lens or a remake lens? And yeah, this is why it has to be deemed as subjective. And ultimately, even though we say the score, it doesn't really make that much difference. It's kind of how you approach it yourself. If you're a long-time Halo fan, you're probably going to love this. If you've never played it before, you'll probably enjoy it, but maybe think compared to like modern day games, it's lacking in some areas.
I think it's setting that expectations where, although it is a remake, it is still Halo 1.
Yep.
In all sense of purposes. So be prepared for that.
Yeah. When you're done and finished in like 6 hours, don't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Play it over a weekend.
They have expanded it. Well, my prediction for an Uncharted 1 remake by Sony, it's going to look and sound amazing, play amazing. It's going to be £800, and it's going to require PlayStation Plus Premium subscription as well as the payment.
Wow, going all in on Sony this week. I mean, it is a very Xbox-centric episode this time around, but yes, the future of games, and what's the biggest shame is when we do finally get that Uncharted remake, we won't have it on disc, most likely. It'll be digital only, but we'll talk about that on next week's show. But it seems like Halo has been a success. How, all things said and done, Richie, how successful do you think this is going to land on PS5 for the first time? We saw Gears had really poor numbers, unfortunately. Forza, smashing it out the park. When Forza releases on PS5 this Christmas, that's going to be a top seller over that winter period. Where's this sit?
It comes down to how you frame it. What do you see success for this? I don't think the numbers are going to be amazing because, to be perfectly honest, it's an old game, and I think hardcore fans of Halo will have already played it. Those who were interested in playing Halo have had plenty of chance to play this game. like like the Master Chief Collection, like or even the originals, especially with Game Pass, that made that very much more accessible. So I don't think it's going to do huge numbers overnight.
Yeah.
I feel this might be one where it does fairly, to be honest, rubbish numbers out the gate, but sustains its sales for a little while. Instead of getting a big spike and falling off the cliff, it's going to have a small spike and just trickle away.
So I think it's going to be a bit more evergreen.
Because I don't think, because I don't think this is a must-play title day and date.
Yeah, and I think that was Gears' problem.
It's a remake. Yeah, because it's exactly the same as Gears. It's a remake of a game that you've had plenty of chance to experience.
Yeah.
So even hardcore Halo fans may not be jumping into this day and date because they might be playing something else. They go, you know what? It's only the campaign, not the multiplayer. I can wait.
Yeah.
Next time I feel like playing the Halo campaign, this is the version I'm going to buy.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You probably did that with The Last of Us when they've done the remasters of The Last of Us. So next time I play The Last of Us, I'll get the newer version.
No, I actually bought that day one and got the platinum.
All right.
But that's just my obsession with the Last of Us in any Naughty Dog game. In terms of 2025 sales, pulling from Alinea Analytics, who we use quite often, we covered it on the podcast many, many moons ago, but their 2025 Xbox Studios games on PS5 across 2025, they read as Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered sold 1.1 million. Gears of War Reloaded sold 572,000. Doom the Dark Ages came in at 495, which I think the Dark Ages got so undercut by it, just overall performance. Like, it deserved so much more.
Yeah, it reviewed really well.
It did. The trilogy as a whole is phenomenal. I just feel like Doom's just maybe lost that traction that it once had. Like, I don't think it's a PlayStation issue. I think it's just the brand of Doom, I guess, is maybe like it needs to go back in the fridge for a little while and show up again in another 10 odd years. Because we've had 3 games in a very short space of time.
Or you just accept these are the numbers that Doom is likely to do.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's still selling almost 500,000 copies on PlayStation.
True. But it was always on PlayStation. That's the one for me. It never felt like an Xbox port. Indiana Jones obviously had that year-long delay. That's still at 493. I think that actually performed the better. And then you've got other ones that came out like Flight Simulator, Age of Empires 2. Outer Worlds 2 was massively disappointing. That only sold 135k. And we know the studio's now been told it's just they're done. It's on ice. They're not making a third entry. But
that's one where I feel like they never found their audience.
No.
Because a lot of people argue it's stronger than Starfield.
Yeah, they did.
So then that comes down to marketing. Like
Starfield approximate sales debuted on April 2026, 140,000 copies. Forza Horizon 6 sales so far on Steam and Xbox about 6.4 million. So
the point is, it didn't do that well on Xbox either.
No,
with Outer Worlds. So it's like, but there's a lot of people critically rate it higher than Starfield, but it didn't sell as well as Starfield. Didn't have the same hype as Starfield. So it's,
and remember, Starfield took 2 years.
There's a game in there. They just didn't quite figure out how to sell it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. But to their credit, like I think Outer Worlds has always looked solid. It's the same with Avowed to a degree. I think Avowed performed under what it wanted.
Honestly, Avowed is similar probably to like something like an Elder Scrolls as Outer Worlds is to Starfield, and they both fall on the thing where I don't think that style of game is as popular as it used to be.
No.
But the Bethesda title means Starfield was always going to be, it's the next game from Bethesda Studios after Skyrim. That's carrying a lot of weight there.
Yeah.
The next Elder Scrolls is going to be hotly anticipated. Fallout's always going to do. The fact that it's Bethesda elevates these games, even if the games are maybe not as good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's just a time and a place for these genres, and I think that echoes Doom quite a lot. I think it's just it's had its time in the light for now.
But that doesn't mean for me that you should stop making these games. It just means setting, as a publisher, you should set your expectations properly.
Yeah.
Go, actually, this isn't going to be a huge mass market game, but it's going to be beloved by a significant audience.
Yeah, and it goes in cycles,
if you're
right?
Selling 500,000 copies, if it's profitable, this is sometimes where it comes down to that. It's profitable, but not profitable enough.
Yeah.
That's the enough.
Yeah, millions of dollars, but not enough for shareholders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
shareholders who had nothing creatively.
Yeah,
to the process.
absolutely. And we think, hopefully, it goes in cycles. Like, we saw how many people attempted to do Battle Royale games, and there'll be a point in, I'm sure, 6-7 years' time, some studio will put out a Battle Royale game, and everyone will go, this has been done. And people cling on to old franchises like Fortnite and stuff, still trying to make Fortnite a thing when it's long since dead. But
my prediction is, after when Elder Scrolls 6 finally comes out, in the year or two immediately following that, things like Outer Worlds and Avowed are going to get a second lease on life as people remember why they fell in love with these style of games.
They'll get a remaster on PS7 and Xbox, whatever, and PC. They'll be like, Avowed remastered Xbox, in 2036.
I'm talking directly to Xbox here. If you want me to buy Avowed, put it on a fucking disc, and I will buy it.
Is it not out on PS5 physically?
Nope.
Oh, I think that's why I didn't bother looking at it as well.
Baldur's Gate isn't either. So Larry, that goes for you too. Yeah. I know there's a weird Japanese version, but I don't want that. I want a proper version.
Yeah. In limited run games, if you are listening, you've got till 2028 to print these physical copies to make some bank, because you're going to be done as well come then. So yes, interesting. Let us know in the comments what you feel in terms of franchise fatigue or performance. Where do you think Halo's going to sit in the long run? Is it truly back? Well, actually, Richard, we have a little bit of tease before we do move on. No spoilers if you've not played it. I know, even though it's a very, very old, literally quarter of a century old game. Apparently, the remaster does have a little clip at the end, which basically all but confirms the sequel. There's a character who basically says, "I'll see you in the sequel." So I think if this does good enough, I think Xbox, the way they their belovedness of this brand, I think they very much want to see 1, 2, and at least 3 remastered over the next 5-6 years, I think. Just so they've got that constant cycle of stuff to put on Game Pass or Xbox. It's like he's the main Halo game, but he's your remastered fully packaged. And eventually we'll get a Master Chief Collection 2, I guess, which will have all the newer remasters of the games. But
to be fair, I'm not against the idea of what they've done, where they've just took the game, made it again, but didn't overdo it, and then moving quickly onto the next game.
Yeah, if they can get them out like every 2.5, 3 years, then great.
Yeah,
keeps it going.
You almost want like one of these remakes to be sandwich between main entry titles,
like Resident.
So I feel like Halo 6 should be probably, or the sequel to Infinite should be next.
Yeah.
Before you go into 2.
Yeah. Agreed. And it's the same as Capcom and Resi have it, isn't it? You get your new entry, then you get a remaster so far through, and then you get another entry, and then they sprinkle things like Pragmata in, because their studios are familiar with the engine. And hopefully now we're going to get a Pragmata 2 sprinkled in somewhere, and then fingers crossed for Dino Crisis remaster.
Pragmata is actually a really good example, actually, of what I've just been touching on. Like, Resident Evil pays the bills. Pragmata is more of a creative endeavor. It's like giving the team a chance to do it on a smaller scope, do something interesting.
Yeah, and it works. And then hopefully that will spawn a franchise that then will become the money maker to do more stuff.
I think it is. I think Pragmata has done well enough. Yeah. We're going to be talking about Pragmata at the end of the year.
Ooh, interesting stuff.
I'm not sure if it's going to be. I think it's in the Game of the Year category so far for this year, definitely.
Oh, it stacks already. We've got Resident Evil Requiem, Pragmata for you, 007 First Light.
I forgot about Requiem actually.
Yeah, and then we haven't even hit Control, GTA.
I feel I feel like Pragmata could squeeze Requiem out because it's not Resident Evil.
Interesting. I think it would stay in because it's Resident Evil. But then we'll see. We'll talk about that later on in the year. The rest of this episode is Xbox specific. In between all like the bad news and stepping on rakes, this is actually a week of good news. We
found some good news, guys.
We found some good news. Halo has launched, of course, and it's out there in the wild, and hopefully it sells fantastic. They've announced backwards compatibility for PC and they've revealed their first 4 games. So, reading from Pure Xbox, the rumours were true. Xbox has announced today that backwards compatibility for original Xbox games is officially coming to PC, starting with the 4 titles Blinks the Time Sweeper, Conquer Live and Reloaded, Crimson Skies High Road to Revenge, and Fusion Frenzy. Xbox say the first 4 games are part of a broader effort to preserve Xbox games from the past and bring them to PC over time. They're adding new features including 4K resolution upscaling, VSync support, anisotropic filtering, whatever that is, and enhanced anti-aliasing, and even the arrival of Xbox achievements later this year. Richie, never played any of these 4 games. They're probably not fantastic, otherwise we would have had remasters. However, Xbox are now seemingly... Is it a port to PC, I guess? The same backwards compatibility, possibly. But if it's to a separate platform, is it?
PC... It's weird to talk about backwards compatibility in PC because PC's not generational.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're going back.
Components in PC are, but PC in general isn't.
Yeah, so they're saying I can play Blinks the Time Sweeper on my brand new £2,000 PC, and they're labeling it as backwards compatibility, but it's not.
Truthfully, you know where I feel this has come from. In a business meeting, Asher Sharman is getting presented, and they got the charts up and going, "Oh, he's our game sales split across platform all of the years," kind of thing. And he gets to a point back to the original Xbox and goes, "Why is there no PC lines there?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Oh, we didn't sell these games on PC," and she's like, "Why the fuck not? Can we do that?" And everyone's in the room going, "Yeah, actually, I think we can." It's like, we'll fucking do it.
Let's get on with it. Yeah.
That you can see how that kind of conversation could happen. Like she's looking through, she's doing her homework into the history of Xbox sales. And
yeah.
These didn't sell anywhere. We didn't sell a single copy on PC. Why not?
Yeah, because no one bought them. But we
didn't try.
I do think it's something maybe from just the optics of their marketing and messaging, like to keep it as simplistic as possible for consumers.
Yeah.
They are basically saying the backwards compatibility element comes from them reaching back into their back catalogue. That's the backwards bit. And then they're porting them to PC, I guess, or making them accessible through PC.
I see where you're going, but I feel like they're talking to Xbox console players about PC. They're not talking to PC players about Xbox titles. It's almost... I feel like this pitch should be towards PC gamers going... Hey, here's some cool Xbox titles that were once locked on the Xbox console.
Yeah.
You can now enjoy. Where I feel like the tone of it with calling it backwards compatibility is talking to console players. So but that's just my reading. I don't really think that matters that much because it's a start. There's 4 games.
Yeah. I'm
not expecting much from any of these, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you'd like to think this is going to be a bit like PlayStation do with their PS Plus catalogue when they add in the classic games.
This is also probably a push where they've noticed a lot of people abandoning PlayStation for PC. So let's strengthen our foothold in the PC market.
Yeah, quite possibly. They do go on to say if you already own these games digitally or have access through Game Pass, you'll be able to start playing them on PC as soon as they go live. And they're also getting Play Anywhere and Xbox Cloud Gaming support. So there's your first batch of 4 games. It does sound like eventually, similar to what I was alluding to with PlayStation Classics, is they'll get around to 360 games in the future. And then before we know it, we'll just have everything available. I think you and me are quite content leaning more towards into... I guess the cloud way of doing it. Like that's how I would probably play these. I'd probably play them via cloud, but yeah.
It depends what I'm playing them on because I don't. If I was sat at my PC, I'm going right. I want to play Conquer Live and Loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I might just download it because the size of the game is going to be so small anyway.
Yeah, that's true. It would be non-existent, wouldn't it?
I'm all for cloud gaming. I think cloud gaming still, especially with hardware prices continuing to go up, could potentially be the solution to that if any of the major players want to get involved in it. But if my PC is more than capable of playing these, the cloud gaming element doesn't benefit me there.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be sat here playing, I might as well just have it downloaded.
Any particular titles you can pull out from Xbox's history that you think they should go for next? Because these are quite indiscriminate Not like massive hitters,
You
are
put me
they?
on the spot there because it's been a while since I looked at the Xbox library that's on PC.
It's one of those ones. Would you go for Gear and Halos, or is that kind of like no, we want to funnel people towards the newer ones?
Truthfully, I feel Gears and Halo are a bit
Done.
boring as answers.
Fable?
Fable, if it's not already on PC, but it feels like it would be. It feels like the sort of game that probably started off life on PC. You know, a lot of things like Dragon Age started off as PC, then got ported over to the original Xbox before it became on every console.
Yeah,
it feels like Fable would be that style of game. Let's have a look. I'm on the Xbox Store.
Yeah.
No, I don't want Ubisoft Connect.
I mean, while you have a look for that, I can bring up the next story, which is ahead of
Fable's
or in line with all that Xbox backwards compatibility. It's hard to say that. They've also got plans, as it alluded to, in that Xbox achievements are also coming to them. So that means that the original Xbox games that have been available through Game Pass, they've never had achievements supported since they arrived on the backwards compatibility program over a decade ago. So with the launch of the Xbox One, this is where we got introduced to Backpat. And apparently that's going to change. So as of today, select titles from the original lineup will have achievements added later this year. Why say from today and then say later this year? Beginning with the 4. So they say, we plan to add even more features to back compatibility in the games in the future. I'm excited to share that later on this year we'll be bringing one of the top fan requested features to the original Xbox games, achievements. So I guess
considering achievements started with Xbox, it feels like an oversight for a long period of time.
Bit of a long time coming. But then in amongst all that, they also have said that there's 11 new features on the way. I guess we can just pick and choose which ones are ideal for you. We've got longer gamer tags from 12 characters to 15.
You know what? Yeah, it's a good move.
Yeah, it makes sense.
12 actually feels oddly restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like up to 15 isn't that big of a jump. It's only 3 extra characters, but it's an improvement.
If you've got a long first name like me, it could limit you what you want to do. In terms of displaying your Xbox games, so when you look into just Game Pass or the games that you own, it now displays them with a rich poster-style artwork for a more immersive library experience to toggle your games library. You can also go in and customize it. The best part I love about this is, I don't know how you feel, but you know when they put like the banners, I think it was the 360 one. So every time you go in, it's got that bright white 360 kind of bookmark along the spine of the artwork. Not only does it block the artwork out, it's quite garish, and it's not as like, as it says there, rich poster style artwork. It doesn't really show off the games in that good of a light. So now you can go and you can toggle on and off those tiles and what's visible. So if you want to specifically break down like Xbox games, Xbox 360 games, you can do that now, or you can have it as minimalistic, almost just like flick through the games that you want purely based on their artwork.
Customizability, I think, is always good. Like
absolutely
giving people the power to curate their library how they want it presented.
Yep.
Good work. I like it.
Good work. You've got new color options.
The new default looks quite clean as well, actually.
It does. Again, just the artwork. That's all I need to see. Just the artwork and flick through. Like an iPod, when you used to just scroll through and look at the album artwork to pick your next song. That used to be decent. And you'd always have that one song on iTunes that wouldn't quite sync, so it would just show the generic music logo.
Yeah.
That would piss me off. That I'd have to go in. You'd have to go in, remember, to the music file, the properties, upload the artwork to the actual MP3 file, save it for it to actually show up in the iPod, which was kids today, they don't know the pain, Richie, of a corrupted file. Next up, they've also done moved on to color customizations, and you can choose using, what's it called? Is it an ink drop? Where you can actually go in and like adjust the hue completely, so you're not relying on just like a select 10 colors. You can basically pick from the entire rainbow.
You've got a full RGB hex code.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
You can directly put in the hex code. It's got controls for hue, saturation, and lightness. The sort of stuff you'd expect.
Yeah.
But custom colors. Do you feel like they're updating the UI for a console that they're talking about sunsetting?
It might. It depends what the Helix UI is, and if it's like based on this, it might be like setting the dominoes up.
Transitioning this UI to being how they envision Helix being.
Quite possibly,
it's a seamless transition.
Quite possibly. What are the other big ones? The ability to find friends more easily.
Mutual friends.
Friends.
you're a friend of a friend, basically.
I think that was the one thing we always struggled with when we did live streams for Xbox.
I feel like I was always having to pull out my phone and do it on my phone rather than doing it natively on the console, and because I found it just easier.
Yeah, remember when we played Gears, and because it was a 360 game,
and I never liked the following thing. Whereas like, oh, I'm following this person, they're following me, but I'm not following them. It's like,
I can,
I like the cleanness of friends. Someone sends a friend request, you either accept or you don't. If you accept, now you can see each other's stuff. If you don't, that's it.
Yeah, you don't need different tiers of friend almost.
Yeah.
What did we have to do for Gears to play it? You had to log in.
We had to go in. We had to boot up the Xbox 360 console menu by a button combination.
Yeah. So we couldn't do it through Xbox PC Cloud. We had to specifically open up a cloud version of Xbox 360 and add each other through that. That was clunky.
Yeah, it was.
But
worked, but it took a bit of Googling.
Yeah. When you view other players' profiles, you can now see mutual friends depending on their privacy settings, helping you feel more confident connecting. If you're viewing a player that you are not already friends with, you'll also see how many mutual friends you share, making it simpler to discover new people, build connections, whether you met through multiplayer or across the Xbox community. That's there. Couple of other things. Not really much else. It is more just like little tweaks here and there.
Console customization even went offline. It's like, damn right that should be there. You shouldn't have to be online.
Well, that's a good one.
You not learn anything from Xbox One.
That's a good one. Not Forza Horizon. Option to play via cloud when there's an update available. So if you work all day, get home, go, I'm going to play some Forza tonight, boot it up, and it goes 15 gig download required. You can just directly play it, boot in via cloud whilst the update happens.
Oh, I like this. That's good.
That's a really good quality of life. That's
good quality of life, but also it's one of them things where it familiarizes people with playing in the cloud. It's like, oh, I thought, how are you playing already? Didn't you just get home? It's like, oh yeah, I boot the disc and you give me the option to play for the cloud. I just went, so I want to play straight away. And I've been playing for 3 hours now without an issue.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
It's like, have you not downloaded it? No, it's still just queued. It's going to download soon when I close the game.
Yeah, just keep playing on cloud all night long.
It gets people that familiar with playing through the cloud, which then strengthens. And from an Xbox point of view, I feel Xbox Cloud offering is the strongest normal organic console experience.
I'd agree with that.
GeForce Now is probably the best in class, but requires third-party storefronts and stuff.
Which we've said for some time, haven't we?
Yeah.
The last one, 360 achievements. Art will now be rendered crisp with crisp pixel blocks when upscaled. So it just looks like they're tidying up the interface. If you unlock an old one, it's not like a clunky pixelated trophy. Or achievement, I should say, not trophy. It's sharper to boot. So win-win.
Yeah.
Speaking of things sharper to boot, Richie, moving on to our next story. Splatoon Raiders, the Nintendo Switch exclusive, launched July 23rd. It's out now, and it's sitting with an 81 on Metacritic, which is exactly the same as the Master Chief Collection was, if my memory serves me right. Let's look at Nintendo's exclusive. Now, this is not a follow-up to Splatoon. This is a direct spin-off, which is very much more in a shooter environment rather than a bit more tactical. So reading from a few reviews. Let's get one. My Nintendo News gave it a 9 out of 10. They say Splatoon Raiders is more than a spin-off. It's an incredible launching point for a brand new style of a much more single-player adventure, combining some of the best parts of the original Splatoon trilogy and turning it into something that feels fresh. Upgrading your arsenal as the mechanic as you go from island to island, splatting hordes of salmonoids, it's even more satisfying than it looks. And though the story isn't too deep, the gameplay couldn't be richer. Not only is Splatoon Raiders an essential addition to your Switch 2 library when it launches, it's also a splatastic reason to own Switch's latest system in the first place. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. They also say Splatoon Raiders is an amazing action RPG with an expertly executed loop. It has fantastic new powers with crazy upgrades that are worth chasing, tough battles that force you to put care into your build in order to overcome them, and a huge variety of fun level types to jump between. The pacing, balance, and difficulty curve are very impressive. I always feel like I had to work a little bit better, but none of the campaign ever felt like grinding or needless padding. Ranger stays fresh by constantly introducing deeper ways to customize my abilities that spark new ideas for creative combinations. I reached the credits more than 20 hours ago, but thanks to an overpowered endgame worth coming back for and the option to seamlessly play with friends online, I've got plenty of raiding left to do. This is the best Splatoon campaign yet, and one of the top games on the Switch too.
The only I looked through into the middling reviews to see if there's any standouts. The only one of note is probably Giant Bomb. I've just read. I'm not going to read their full review here, but to summarize, the impression I got is they had fun with it, but when they got to the end of the campaign, instead of going on the post game, they felt they had the fill.
Yeah.
So it might just be like, okay, yeah, this is a subjective thing. I bring that up just to say, like, although there is some reviews that I was a 7 out of 10, pulling this down, it's one of them, like, well, if it's not your start, it's not your sort of game, it's not your sort of game.
Yeah. This one strikes me as one that because, like, again, I would never play Splatoon because as fun and whimsical as it looks, it's that kind of like that whole multiplayer thing where it doesn't really do it for me.
If you've grown up playing Splatoon and then we'll get older and wanted more of an action RPG and go, oh, I used to love Splatoon. You know, I'm going to give that a go. You could see how it could have a nostalgia factor for a generation
absolutely.
younger than us.
Yeah, I can see that through and through. Yeah. And I think the fact that they've took that world and turned it into a campaign with like a slightly different spin-off, I think it's a good move to make. It keeps it feeling fresh, but also relevant while they inevitably work on a Splatoon 4. Presumably,
yeah.
But it's wild to think we've got 4 Splatoon games. It just seems like they've came out at such a clip, but it's doing well. It's doing well.
Was the original one on the Wii U?
That's a very good question. I would have thought it was Switch because
I feel like it was more popular on the Switch, but then
it might have been a
self-evident statement, really. Yeah, it was Wii U.
Wii U's. Oh wow. And then inevitably got a Switch port, and that's where it actually became popular because people own Switches.
I think it was popular on the Wii U. It's just the Wii U wasn't popular.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was almost like popularized because people bought Switches.
Yeah, Splatoon 2 was the first one on the Switch.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Who knew?
So it's basically it's clearly Nintendo. This Nintendo doing things well. It's like, okay, the game did well relative to how many consoles we've sold.
Yeah.
So let's try it again on a console that everyone bought.
Yeah, and they always have the Switch always has fantastic attach rates anyway. But I think you're right. If you're kind of not old enough for your Call of Duties, shooting around, splatting little Inkloids or whatever they're called, and jumping into little pools of paint, it seems fun.
You're a parent. Would you want your daughter, even when she's maybe 12, 13-year-old, shooting people in the face with an M16? Or would you rather play something like Splatoon?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm buying her a ghillie suit and getting her straight into Modern Warfare. No, yeah, I think it would be more whimsical, like, again. Bright, colourful, no beheading or brain explosions, please.
I've heard criticism of Fortnite because it's cartoony and aimed at children, but it is, you are running around shooting people.
Yeah. So it's still incredibly violent.
Yeah. Whereas Splatoon, it's ink.
Covering them in paint. It's just paintball fights, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Still running around with weapons. It's just the human nature, isn't it, that we have to build weapons of destruction. Speaking of destruction, a Catalyst event has happened, Richie. Lara Croft's newest PlayStation 5 Tomb Raider has been delayed until 2028. Now, we knew about Legacy of Atlantis. That was delayed from this year. Actually, we probably would have been playing it imminently. That was pushed back until 2027, and then naturally that's had a knock-on effect as well. And we know that by delay of Amazon Games boss Jeffrey Gaddis, who casually mentioned in an interview with the game business that Catalyst is now launching in 2028. So we've got to wait till February now for the Legacy of Atlantis remake of the first game, and then we'll follow on with 2028 for the next one. He says, we're excited about those, but there are other AAA things that are in various stages of discussion right now. Catalyst will be running on Unreal 5, and it's been described as the perfect game for long-time fans and newcomers, as it represents a new saga set in India, where the most notorious treasure hunters from around the world descend on the region. Lara races to uncover the truth buried beneath the fractured landscapes and to stop those who would use its power for their own gain. So, 2028 for Miss Croft's newest adventure, Richie.
I think as soon as Atlantis got delayed, this needed to be delayed, even if it was ready. because you don't want that situation where you got two Tomb Raider games too close to each other. I always think there should be at least 1 year between titles. So you don't want to get a Legacy, Atlantis, and Catalyst both in 2027. So regardless of the state of the game, I would be delaying this game to 2028 anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think we've got probably more than enough stuff stacked, but similar to how we opened the show with Halo, like you want maybe the remake of the original title, get people in, bit nostalgia. Wow, look how good it looks in Unreal. And then, then they get a bit of a breather, go play some other things, and then, who's these? The new adventure. Get them back in with the marketing. And again, you kind of get that double hit of if there's a big enough gap, when the new one starts to pop its head up on the horizon, people go back and buy the remaster of the original.
Truthfully, I don't think they should have ever put a date on this.
Yeah, in hindsight, it seems very odd to go like, there's two coming. Yeah.
You didn't need to, it's one of them, you didn't need to commit to that. You didn't need to show us anything else other than at the Game Awards. Was it Game Awards was released?
Yeah.
Wherever it was, I think it was Game Awards as announced.
Summer Game Fest. One of Jeff Keighley's things.
One of them, yeah. You show Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. You talk a bit on stage and go, we're also working on the next title in the Tomb Raider franchise, which will come out after Atlantis, and you just get a title card, Tomb Raider Catalyst. That's it. We don't at this point, we do not need anything more than that.
Yeah.
Let us look forward to Atlantis before we care about Catalyst. It's like announcing Fallout 6.
Or announcing a new Witcher DLC. One would say.
Indeed.
Maybe, potentially.
A decade late, but...
a decade late, but it is coming. This is, of course, The Witcher next big expansion, titled Songs of the Past. Jeff Keighley has tweeted out saying it'll be at Gamescom on Tuesday, August 25th. So this was kind of, I guess, expected. Jeff usually has good deals for things like this, especially... Was it Game Awards that showed off the new Witcher 4 cinematic with Ciri? I think it was, yeah.
It was a Keighley event. It was either Gamescom's opening night live or Summer Games Fest. I can't remember which one.
So
possibly all three.
So even though this game's, again, a decade plus old, I think it's still probably going to be one of the biggest and most talked about things at Gamescom. I also worry Gamescom this year might be a bit flat, because I feel like we had such a big Summer Game Fest and huge showcases from Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. It feels like it always comes around so quick. Like, just a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have yet another show.
Opening night live might be, but Gamescom as an in-person event.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking away from the event. I meant just purely like the opening presentation, like 2 hours of trailers and adverts.
The in-person event, you've got the potential of things like Wolverine, Control Resonant being Final Fantasy Resonance, like probably Plague Tale might be there.
Mm-hmm.
Tomb Raider might be there. Like I feel like there's enough coming in the next 6 months where. I feel like the opening night live might be a bit flat. The in-person showcase might be stronger.
Yeah. I mean, if we were to rank them, it would always probably be Game Awards is the big one, Summer Game Fest is the second, and then opening night live is kind of probably in last place in terms of the Jeff events.
Imagine if it was a fucking Ocarina of Time.
I mean, you never know.
We need something for Ocarina of Time. They've announced it.
I mean, it's coming this year. Yeah, true. Unless Nintendo do their own thing.
That the pre-orders are starting next month sometime.
Could line
up. They
up.
need a direct on this. Nintendo need a direct.
All right, well, it could line up pretty nicely then. Final few stories, Richie, as we round out this week's show. Didn't think I'd ever be saying this. Amazon Luna has bagged themselves an exclusive Batman game. This comes in the form of Batman Caped Crusader Chronicles, which is coming exclusively to the cloud streaming platform. Officially licensed by Warner Bros. Entertainment, launching on July 31st to coincide with Season 2 premiere of the acclaimed Batman Caped Crusader animated series on Prime Video. Didn't know that was a thing. Prime members can jump into the game on Luna at no additional cost. Play alongside iconic DC characters featuring voice performances from across the series' original cast and an 11-episode action-adventure-packed challenging mini-games to put your detective skills to the test. I'm not going to go into the full blog because it basically just describes the game in massive detail. Yeah. Cape Crusader Chronicles will launch in-app in a bunch of countries. It just sounds like Amazon is saying it's not going to be available in all countries, but you do need Amazon Prime and, of course, the ability to play a Luna game. I
It's
guess
a party game.
it's the party game. It's the next best thing, I guess, since the Arkham series. We know the Arkham games are on Luna. It's not going to be the biggest Batman game, but it's as far as an exclusivity goes. I'm guessing this is negotiations between Amazon and Warner Brothers to kind of work closer on TV properties. I reckon Warner Brothers must have sold something to Amazon in return for this exclusivity and vice versa.
I don't know, I feel like, although yes, it's an exclusive to Luna, I feel it's not an exclusivity on the Batman IP. This is a tie-in game with a TV show.
Mm-hmm. Still Batman.
That is for a party, a co-op party game. It's still Batman, but I feel like this is entry-level Batman. This isn't getting like the rights to the Batman live-action movies or like a third-person action-adventure game.
Do we think it's just an excuse for Amazon to basically say, like, look, we have Batman? Yeah. Because I do think ultimately it looks like the trailer doesn't really give much away, but it essentially looks like a game of lots of animated still images moving, when they save budget on animation by just moving a picture of Batman and a picture of Jim Gordon and then a silhouette comes out from the background of the Joker or something. And they're just going to go, here's a mini game of solve the puzzle, connect this to disarm a bomb, or there's a Riddler trophy or something somewhere that you can get by like rubbing out something on the screen. And there's actually going to be no character, no motion, and probably no story. It does say on the video, though, in a cooperative party game, 1 to 4 players, you'll join forces with Renee Montoya as part of Batman's inner circle, uncovering evidence, chasing leads, and confronting iconic villains across 11 gripping episodes. Test your detective skills to surface clues in 11 detective mini-games. Investigate, interrogate, deduce, and decode your way through the crime webs woven by 10 of Gotham's most devious criminals, including Scarecrow, Babyface, never heard of that one, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Dollmaker, Lynx, Music Meister, and of course, the Joker. Crack the cases, save the city. Good for Luna.
Yeah, good for anyone who wants
Good
to
for
play
Luna. I still stand by if you have Amazon Prime and you have Luna, just go play Dispatch instead.
Yeah. Dispatch is currently number 1 on top new games in Luna.
Or Hogwarts Legacy, or Fallout 4, or Guardians of the Galaxy, or Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, because they are a good couple of solid games available on Luna with Prime that you don't have to go pay a penny for.
I've got the top 10 games, new games, as Luna calls them, in front of me. Do you want me? I'm going to quickly run through them. So, starting at 10, The Game of Life. Starting at 9, Hogwarts Legacy. Game. Oh, it's Game of Life 2, sorry. I'll get it right. Oh, wow. Hogwarts Legacy is at 9. Goat Simulator 3. Guardians of the Galaxy. Centipede Swarm. Wobbly Life. Master of the Universe, Legends Unite, Courtroom Chaos, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. FC26. The Dispatch. I would argue that only Dispatch deserves to be on this list.
Top 10? Who's even playing Luna? Who knows? What makes up the top 10? We don't really know.
But Dispatch is awesome. Like, that's a good get for Luna.
Yeah, it is a good get. So, Richie, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. There is a short story about a PlayStation outage and being unable to download and or play digital games that you own or own a license to. But we'll save that story for next week's episode because we're going to talk about the future of video game preservations, physical media, and everything else in between. While we're both away on our jolly holidays, you'll get that here. Episode goes up early for members, of course. But it is
very early for members.
They're very early, but there is a sad...
They have a slim chance this may go up earlier than... Next week's episode for members might go up earlier than this week's episode.
Well, we might tease them still. We might tease them still.
It depends who edits quicker.
We might tease them still. But yeah, the irony of a PlayStation outage when the backlash of all this is happening is so ironic. But we like to end every single episode with this day in video game history. We're recording a double bill on July 24th. Any particular games stand out for you on this day in the annals of history, Richie?
I'm just looking. I still had them next week's up in front of me, and there's some bangers in there, so look forward to that as well. Nothing for this week for the 24th. 25th.
Just looking through now. Not really much. 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker, released 26 years ago in Japan. Now, we've all played 18-wheeler in the arcade, where you get that big giant wheel and the horn, and you just basically smash other cars off the highway. That was always fun, especially if the rig in the arcade was like an actual fake mini truck that you got inside. That was always a good laugh.
Literally nothing jumps out at me. There's like things like Fire Emblem, Three Houses 7 years ago on the Switch, Multiverses 4 years ago. That's dead now, though, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's about it.
I would probably say the biggest one here then is probably on the 27th of July, Dr. Mario came out on the Game Boy and NES 15 years ago. That was like basically Tetris where you used medicine capsules, if I recall rightly.
Good game.
But yeah, nothing to write home about. But oh well, hopefully next week's a little bit better, and you'll find out soon enough. But that's been it for this week's episode of the GamerGuild Podcast. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
And remember, folks, play whatever makes you the happiest. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.